You seem finally tired of video games. Perhaps you wanna finally quit? Very well. It's time for me to finally drop out from gaming. Hello, I'm Arvin. Welcome to this video. This video, I'm not gonna talk about my traveling experience or anything related to traveling, but I'm gonna talk about something else. My experience of gaming. Ever since I was a kid, I was already into video games. There were a lot of games I was into, like Roblox, Angry Birds, Jurassic World, Five Freddy's, well, a lot of them. I was so crazy about gaming that I neglect responsibility and spend so many hours on it. Like, I delayed my tasks to put wet clothes on stands and washing dishes or not doing anything at all. I also spend very long time to sit to play computer, liking workout activities, barely standing for a long time, and barely going outside as well. Since 2022, I started to become more caring about my health, and from reducing eating unhealthy and now reducing consuming activities. Now this year, I decided to finally drop out from gaming. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is in-game items. So in multiplayer games or single-player games, you start with beginner items that are more commonly used by people, and then you progressively get items that are used by people less often and more rare. When I got some of them, I felt happy. Then when it comes to in games with trading system where two people trade with each other, swapping their items, giving items or anything similar, there were some times when I lost my items from trading, like people trying to scam me. People tried to scam me, and I fell into scam attempts. Then after that, I felt frustrated and started to win around about what happened and how I lost them. I started to go around and sound like begging for things. Sometimes some people gave me the items, and most of the time I don't get anything. I also realized that developers tend to add more new things, new items to keep people engaged and make them play their games for longer. And I also realized no matter how many things you get, you just keep adding new things. It's just endless. I also had a lot of items that were obtainable for limited time, and since they came from an event, I really wanted to get them, and I was like scared of missing the chance to get them. And they made me play. I mean, they made me want to participate the event, and I had to do the tasks to get them. And then in the end, I felt satisfied. But then later on, I lost interest in them. And then, like, now what? Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is aggression and frustration and whatever kind of behavior. So video games tend to have items that are locked behind like paywall, missions, or whatever like those things. While some items can be easy to get, some of them can be difficult, which can make you feel frustrated. It can make you feel frustrated if it feels too hard or tedious. Okay, let's say. Okay, the first example is losing the whole progress, and then you have to redo the whole of it. Yeah, one instance was like I was doing everything, all missions to get an event item in Roblox. I thought I already did everything, but then it turned out that I hadn't done one thing yet. I had to do one more thing, and then because I made that mistake, I lost the progress, and I had to redo everything. Another one is like a parkour. I had to do a parkour and then do a quiz. And if I fail the quiz, then I have to do the parkour again. And the parkour was kind of difficult, and there was also an instance where I spent so many hours to do a parkour. I kept dying and then trying to redo it. All those hours wasted. I didn't finish within those hours. I felt so frustrated, like headache. I felt headache and breathed heavily. And finally, another thing is loot boxes. Those things are like you buy one of them and then get a random item from it based on the chance percentage, how likely you are to get certain items. However, luck can be really weird, and you can be unlucky when trying to get certain items from random chance, and you feel frustrated, and it takes you a lot of attempts to get one. There was one point where I tried to get certain items from random chance. One was like, there was one way that gives one common item and one that is rare, like 5% chance to drop. It was very cheap, and it took me 2 attempts to get the rare one. Another one is like more expensive, but not too much. I don't know really, but like this is a common one and this is a rare one. 5% chance to drop as well. Like the last one, it took me 5 attempts to get the first one. And finally, there was this one, very expensive, the common one is 75% chance to drop, and the rare one is 25% chance to drop. It was very expensive, and it took me 11 attempts, and I grind for the in-game money for one attempt most of those days. And when I got the common one, I felt the same way, frustrated. felt I felt like having headache and breathing heavily. Video game video game currencies tend to be like usually easy to get, but real money is probably much harder to get compared to in-game currencies. I don't know, I haven't started my first job yet, but I feel like that's what real money is like. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is people. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about people is the negative behavior. You know, there are some people who like to attract attention by acting aggressively. They like to fight with people on the internet, arguing, while some of them may express their dissatisfaction. There are also people who simply like to be so aggressive and try make people become angry and then fight with them. This happened to me a lot of times when I was a kid. Like I didn't like what they said, and I suddenly became mad. Then after all, I realized that any aggressive responses can be like traps. Not just you, but everyone. Like emotional manipulation. Okay, another thing is misinformation. So, misinformation is like false information which people believe, but it's not true. While some may accidentally spread misinformation, there are also others who spread it intentionally. You know, misinformation is like a plague, and a lot of people seem to easily fall into a hole of misinformation. And finally, you can also lose, I don't know what it's called, but I call it sense of morality. Nowadays, I see a lot of people arguing and make so many responses, and most of them I saw were like they prioritize winning an argument or being right over telling the truth or being like honest, understanding. In the end, no one is satisfied, not even one person. And the worst thing that could come from any kind of aggressive act is regret. You don't feel it immediately, but it can happen later, and it can be like worse than anything or anyone present. Okay, I thought that would be the last thing I wanted to talk about, but then I suddenly felt like I wanted to talk about one more thing. Friends. In real life, people tend to be friends with anyone around. Like when they find new people in school, at work, in college, in a club, whatever, and they tend to be kind most of the time, but they can mess something up. Like they're not immune to making any mistakes, and kindness or loyalty is not guaranteed. Any kind of friends, especially in real life, and the internet can betray you. While they can seem to be friendly at first, their real nature can be not like that, but rather different. And one more thing I want to add is flexing. Flexing is like you showing your items that less people have to anyone around or anyone you know. While showing off your items can inspire people. Doing so too many times can make you seem egotistical, arrogant, and prideful. I remember flexing my Pokemon in Pokemon Go to my friends. I showed them too many times and then they kicked me out from the group. At first, I felt like I was really betrayed. I mean, revisiting this, I realized it was because of me flexing too many times, too often. I made myself seem like I was really arrogant, egotistical, and prideful, even though it wasn't intentional. But now I know what those are like. No, most people on the internet I see nowadays really weird or aggressive. Thankfully, there are still some good ones around. Okay, I guess those are all the things I got to say. But now I finally ceased my activity from not just playing Roblox but also gaming in general.
My Roblox account is also about to be 10 years old, but I don't think I'll be back for the 10th anniversary of it. So goodbye, Roblox.
Hopefully that will be really beneficial for me, and I decided to do that because I wanted to reduce the feeling of being pressured too much and pursuing more studying, learning, producing things, and reducing consuming activities. There was a game studio which I had been supporting for 5 years. I said goodbye to both the fandom of one of the game and the owner of the studio in the Discord server. I didn't mean to discourage you guys from playing video games, but I gotta say something. If you know how to handle your behavior, that's good. But if it's really hurting you and you really know that, you better start prioritizing your well-being. I hope this video really helps you, and if anyone you know is really struggling with video game addiction or whatever kind of unproductive behavior, you can share this video to spread the word. Okay, that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching and listening.